I'm Rachel,
I'm Ivy.
and we are Swords and Sapphics, a podcast all about queer media, representation, and women with a capital W.
Hello.
Hello.
What are we talking about today?
Well, maybe we're not talking about something, but maybe we're talking to someone.
I haven't heard this one all year. What the
I
hell?
know we haven't recorded an episode all year.
Oh my God. Which is funny because this is the second episode of our season 4.
Yeah, but we
But
don't
that's
do things in order.
no, 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 no. That would be too boring. Anyway, with whom, who,
Whomst?
whomst are we talking tombst?
We are talking to Isabel Agajanian, who is the author of Modern Divination, which is
Hmm.
coming out soon.
30th.
Is it out?
It's out already. It's coming out on 30th. It came out on 30th of January. To us, that's future. For y'all, it's past. So just
Yeah.
this timeline is wow.
We're literally manipulating time.
But it was Lydia Calderu, who was also a divination witch in Agatha all along on theme.
Hmm.
She said time isn't linear. So
And
we
she's,
really are on theme if you really think about it.
yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Yeah.
But before we get to the interview, what are you enjoying these days?
Ooh, it's a heavy question, lads.
How is this?
I started Abbott Elementary. And I really enjoyed it. It usually takes me a few episodes to really get into like a sitcom. Like I feel like I have to catch up with the vibes a little bit, or maybe the vibes have to catch up with me. I don't know which way it goes.
Yeah.
But this one I was connected straight away, and I'm shipping Gregory and Janine, and it's really good. It's a really good show.
It is. Makes me teary-eyed. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Now I want to rewatch it again. I haven't done that
Maybe
in a
you
while. So
should.
I think so. I think so.
We watched a movie last night together. Is it time to talk about it, or should we leave it for a minute?
I'm happy to talk about it because then I will forget that I watched it.
Okay. Well, last night we watched a movie that really feels like a movie.
It does.
Yeah, we watched Don't Worry, Darling,
Yeah.
finally. Yeah, we're very late to the party, mostly because it was more fun to watch the drama of the press tour and the film festival unfold with the cast. But so we was like, let's hate watch it.
Mm.
There was nothing to hate, Your Honor. I enjoyed it.
I did too. I
I
was
really enjoyed it.
confused for a long part of the movie, but once it started, I was like, and I said it like 3 times while we were watching it. The explanation is what's gonna
Yeah.
like equals to how I enjoyed the movie. So it will be hit or miss. And I really
Mhm.
did enjoy it.
I think they did it really well. It didn't fall flat for me at all. Like, if anything, it was more than what I expected because it could
Yeah.
have been a really easy answer. So for those who haven't watched it, it's like a weird cult vibe when they all live in the same on the same street, and all the men go out every day to work for this organization called Victory, and it's very much like 1984 coded. Like there are posters and there's propaganda everywhere about how great Victory is, and it's ran by Chris Pine, who makes a very great cult leader. I would probably join his cult, I'm afraid.
I mean, yeah.
Um, and then Florence and another woman there kind of start to like get flickers of something that's not right. There's something off about the place. Yeah. So I thought it was just going to be like that. It's just going to be like either a cult or like a social experiment, like some, I don't know, something like that. But it was actually, I thought it was a pretty good commentary on like just mm, incels, first of
Yeah.
all.
Honestly, at the end, like I don't want to spoil it, but what happened to me is very realistic in the sense that that 90% of men today would do that exact same
Hmm.
thing, having
Hmm.
the choice. You just know. So
Yeah.
to me, that felt even scarier than really anything else. One thing that was negative to me was watching Harry Styles tap dance for like 3 minutes straight. That was the
Oh,
most
weird.
disturbing thing in the whole movie. I'm so traumatized.
But if we think about it now, then it was his simulation, so it then made sense. You
I
know what I
still
mean?
no, because why would he choose that? How would he choose to do that?
I don't know. He was feeling himself. I
Okay.
don't know. I
Yeah.
guess we're trying to make Harry Styles a triple threat, but I don't think he should pursue much more dancing. We
Yeah.
saw that happen in, in boot camp in X Factor. For the directioners who know, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, that wasn't necessary. I was even pleasantly surprised that they actually gave me a reason why he was British because I was like, why is Harry Styles British? And why is what's her face called?
I don't know if it's her name or if one of her characters, Gemma?
Gemma, Gemma Chan.
Yeah.
Why is
I
she
wasn't sure if
British?
it was the character's name from other
No,
movies.
Gemma
Yeah.
Chan. And but Florence Pugh was putting on an American accent, and even that was explained. So I was like, okay, we're
Yeah.
doing okay here. And you
Yeah.
know what? Harry Styles wasn't that bad at acting.
It wasn't. There was the scene in the car that really, that was kind of heartbreaking to me.
Yeah.
That was,
Honestly, I'm a proud directioner today.
and like me saying that
I
means a
know.
lot because I'm not his fan.
Wow.
There wasn't Florence Pugh, I probably wouldn't watch it. So but I don't say it lightly, but he was okay.
He
He wasn't bad.
was.
I was worried that he's gonna be awful, and he wasn't.
He wasn't.
Yeah. Even the accent, for a long time, I was thinking, oh, they figure out that he can't do American accent, and they just gave up and just let him
Yes.
keep his. But then there was parts where he had American accent, and it was fine.
Yeah, he was okay. I mean, I think if he had more dialogue in American, you'd
Yeah,
be
you
like,
would know.
whoa.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
because they didn't give him too much in
Yeah.
American, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I the acting on all parts was really great.
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde was great in it.
Hmm.
Chris Pine as a cult leader was he really unsettled me, and I don't often feel unsettled by people because like I expect people to be kind of awful, so it doesn't unsettle me when they are. But this was
Such a
this
sad thing
was
to say. Oh God.
yeah. I don't know. I just mean like I see people acting like serial killers and stuff all the time, but the way like Chris Pine's demeanor in this, the way that he made himself, the way like when he became the villain, that was really good.
Was, yeah.
And but I more believable because of how he looks. Like he does look like he might start a cult.
Mhm.
But he's also nice enough that you would join it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even reading through the letterboxd reviews, people was like, "Oh, she had nothing new to say. Like this is just the white woman's Get Out." And it's kind of like it was a comment. It felt like a commentary on what a lot of women experience from men, like that need for control. So
Mhm.
I guess now women can't do that because another piece of media exists. So we can't comment on stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of films that carry the same themes and do similar things, but in different ways. And that was really disheartening to see.
I can't handle people commenting on anything these days. When it comes to media, I couldn't look. 5 years ago, or maybe a little around that time, I had to stop reading all that and stop it from like keeping me away from stuff because I rarely agree with them. I feel like, especially now, people just love to hate on things.
Well, this in particular, people wanting to hate. First of all, because of the drama of
Yeah.
Cannes film. Was it Cannes? I can't remember
Yeah.
which film festival it was. But also the fact that Harry Styles was in it because a lot of people are like Harry Styles needs to stay in his lane. Like it's not really that like a lot of Harry Styles fans are not necessarily like cinema fans, or at
Mhm.
least like that kind of cinema that's like kind of higher art. Um, so it was always gonna people were always gonna go into that wanting to
Mhm.
hate it. But that's really sad. I was like, I'm really disappointed that I let that like overshadow going in to watch it because it was really good.
Mm,
And it
yeah.
just shows that the internet is just a really nasty place and like it sets artists up to fail a little bit.
Mm, yeah. We also watched Argyle on Apple because it was free.
Oh God.
And that was speaking of negativity, that was a shit show. It felt like
It's
two move no, the first half felt like one movie, and the second
yeah,
half felt like seven movies in one. It went like they wanted to put so many tropes and so many things, and they just mushed it together, and it was wild. I thought I was
yeah.
high from half of the movie.
The first half, I was like, they made this film for me. They made
Yeah,
it
it
for
was
us.
so good.
So good, like action, romance, like the kind of like reluctant stuck together while trying to survive and not be killed by people.
Yeah.
Like it was like Romance in the Stone for me.
And I
And
was like, I don't know why people hate this movie so much. It's very good. I'm enjoying it. And then
I didn't know people hated it.
I did.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was like, how are they, why is it still on for another 2 hours? Like half an hour in.
Yeah. Like what
And
else
then
can they do? And
yeah, well,
wow, they did a lot
I
of it.
guess I guess they asked that to themselves as well. What else can we do? And they really made sure to explore every avenue because it was five plot twists wrapped up in a trench coat.
So insane. I don't
By
think
the
I
end
can
of it,
really.
Bryce Dallas Howard wasn't just a double agent. She was like a quadruple agent. She was like an octuple agent.
Every half an hour, she changed twice, sides like three times. It
Yeah.
was. I don't have words to describe what it felt like. It was a journey, and
Yeah.
still, and there was after a while, she was like skating in an oil puddle, and I was like, how, like there's still half an hour left. Like, what else can happen? What else can possibly happen? And again, they showed us. I said it when we were watching it. It felt to me who the people who watched The Office and who watched Michael's movie Threat Level Midnight. That's what it felt to me. It went just off the rails. And if you were
Yeah.
to tell me that Michael Scott wrote it, I would be like, oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I just miss Michael Scott in there, and that would have just made the movie perfect to me.
They just didn't, they should have just stopped while they were ahead, I think. I like absurd movies,
But then there's absurd,
but
and then there's good.
this got too absurd. Like it still needs to kind of serve its purpose and
Mm.
carry out a plot that you want, that you enjoy, that you want to follow. And I wanted to stop following this as soon as she whipped out her ice skates and skated across oil. And the oil, and also just the little things, like she was on her knees through the oil and her knees stayed clean. Oil is really hard to get out of things.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It was wild. I don't think you have to watch it to understand what
That's the thing.
what we
I
mean.
wouldn't say don't watch it because it's
No.
certainly an experience. It's
Yeah.
just what I just can't quite define what kind of experience it is.
It's weird to me that Apple TV have one of the best TV shows that are out there. And then they have this movie and Ghosted with Chris Evans, which we already talked about last year.
Yeah.
I just
I,
don't get like in my brain it does this combination does not compute, you know?
and it did the same thing as Ghosted, where it's so they always seem to associate spies with like the Middle East. They always end up in an Asian country and the brown people end up being some of the enemies, and it's like just leave them out of it.
Yeah.
Like, why do we need to? Why? And it does that like little orangey filter to signify they're in a different climate.
Of course.
Like,
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't. I guess Apple aren't hiring the best film writers and producers. I think this one was the guy who does the Kingsman
Which is
series,
even
which
weirder because Kingsman is a good movie that's fun action thing.
yeah, I mean I see the same absurdity there.
Yeah, but it's not
But
it's enjoyable. It's like you know what to
yeah.
expect. It's like sort of the fun, not
Mm.
taking themselves seriously.
Yeah. And there was some good tropes, like, oh, it in that way, it was actually like Citadel on Amazon with Richard Madden and Priyanka Chopra. She, spoiler alert, she forgot she was a spy. She had amnesia and like, but he remembered, and there was that good romance trope where it's like, I love you, you don't remember loving me. So good. But then again, it just got stupid again.
Yeah. And the entire time I was like, I'm certain Henry Cavill will pop up at some point as not the character, but as a real boy. And he did, with the even worse hair somehow than at the beginning.
I don't know. I would genuinely rather have those greasy curls over that weird spiked up, been electrocuted look.
I don't
By
know.
the way, is Henry Cavill actually hot, or does he just usually have a decent haircut? Because
That's the
this
question.
this made me question things I've never before questioned
I
about
get it.
Henry Cavill.
I get it. Look, with Henry Cavill, I've been here through his mustache gate and through the CGI mustache gate. So
Oh
I've
God.
I've seen him in
Just remember.
places and like visages that I necessarily didn't really want to. So my, the level of what I can take was very high, but it was just bad. It was bad.
It wasn't great.
No,
No. It's hard work standing a white man because it really all does depend on the facial hair
it
and
does.
the normal hair and
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
Well, anything else you've been enjoying?
I watched Seeking a Friend at the End of the World with Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. That was actually a really good one. It was they find out that like an asteroid is coming towards the Earth. They have like 2, 3 weeks. So they end up on this road trip together trying to find his first love, I think it is. And of course they end up falling in love themselves. Everybody in the reviews were like, this made me fall in love with Steve Carell. And that's valid.
That's the week because
I
I
know.
fell in love with him as Michael Scott. Like
I
that's
didn't I would go so far as to say I didn't even mind him in Bruce Almighty. Not Bruce Almighty. What's the Evan Almighty, the
I
sequel
haven't
of
watched
Bruce
that one.
Almighty.
That's what it is.
And he's actually a lot hotter now than he was back in the day, I will say that.
The way, you know what? The gray in his hair.
Mhm. He suits his silver hair.
He does.
But yeah, that was good. It was like the very traditional, she's not like the other girls. He's a little sad pining after an ex. It was like very like 2010s kind of setup. But one thing about me is I love like a movie where they're getting ready to die, you
Mm.
know, because that's me. I'm always getting ready to die. How about
Oh.
you? You've been watching
How do I follow this one? Yes, I have. I've been rewatching a lot of stuff. So I rewatched Only Murders in the Building.
hmm
Some weekend I rewatched Percy Jackson again. What else? What was I watching before Only Murders?
Something just came to me.
I've been also watching a lot of animated shows. So I've been watching My Adventures with Superman on HBO, Creature Commandos on HBO. I still have to catch up to that. It's a lot of superheroes in animation, and I do enjoy that. I feel like there was something else that I can't remember. I've been reading.
Yeah.
I've read a lot, which is exciting. I mean, I've been reading Modern Divination, which we'll talk about soon.
Yes.
I read The Second Assistant to the Villain.
hmm
That's very exciting. It made me feel a lot. I'm using my Kindle. I'm
Oh my
using
God.
Santa Pageant by Lillian Barry, which I got the arc of like 2 years ago. I'm finally reading it.
Look, if you've ever given us an arc, we are so sorry. Like it just embarrasses me to
I
no
just,
end.
I I feel like I passed that. I'm just so disappointed in myself that I no longer feel anything.
It's
Yeah.
really bad because people still ask us if we want arcs, and we're like, Yeah, but then like it takes us so long to read them. And
Like
it
two
doesn't
books.
mean we're not going to read them. I just hope that you would like a review in 5 years' time because
Yeah,
might possibly be when we get around to it.
that's the most realistic timeline I could think of, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I watched some movie. I mean, I watched a movie. I watched The Return with what's his face? Lord Voldemort. Because
Ralph
something, yeah, Ralph something.
Fiennes.
Yeah, I think so.
Fiennes. I don't know how you say it. Fiennes,
I saw his
Fiennes.
penis. I don't feel like I can get to know him better than that. I watched The Return, which is about Odysseus returning back to Ithaca and fighting the suitors and going back to Penelope. Anyway, I really actually enjoyed it. It is one of the things that I really enjoyed was the sound effects when they were fighting because it wasn't like all blown pew pew pew. It was when he was like hitting the arrows, it felt very like thud.
Mm,
It wasn't like you know what I mean? It wasn't
yeah,
like superhero reactiony. It was very, and in that sense to me, that made a bigger impression.
yeah. I get it. I guess I guess the problem is like everybody's trying to do the same thing right now in Hollywood. They'll cast the same actors and they'll shoot things the same way. And there's a handful of directors who are always the ones at the forefront of everything. And I think I'm ready to start going back into like indie movies, movies that were made like 20 years ago, stuff like that, because Hollywood's really exhausting.
Yeah. Also, I mean, we watched Love Actually during
Oh
Christmas,
yeah.
and w one thing that really to me is always makes an impression with all these old movies is like their teeth is natural, like their faces are
Yeah.
natural, and there's not the I mean, out of all the movies, like Love Actually was very glamorous, but there's not the like too much of perfection.
Yeah. Well, I think that UK glamour and Hollywood glamour are two very different
Yeah.
things. Like to me, they still look like British people you might pass on the street.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Rich ones, but
And
still like normal Earthlings.
yeah,
Yeah. And I miss
I
them.
found I know, I found the same thing. I was watching Bridget Jones' Diary, and make no mistake, it's so fucking ridiculous that they try and call her fat when she's like 10 stone. I'm like 3 stone heavier than Bridget Jones right now. But they're also still real people.
Yeah.
Like even watching Bridget Jones' Baby, Renée Zellweger has clearly like had lips done and stuff. And I'm all for women having stuff done, but like I can't not see it, and it does take me out of the story because it's just not real.
Yeah.
Like it's just looking at something that's supposed to be human, but it's just something's tiny bit off, and that's what plastic surgery is to me. It's like the uncanny.
Someone mentioned because there was a video side by side of Anne Hathaway when she was in one of her older movies and she was crying and she had like little crow's feet, I guess you what you call them,
Mm.
by her eyes. And then I think it was the one with Nicholas, what's his face? Uh
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean.
The idea of you mean?
Yeah, that one. And she didn't have that. And it's like
No.
a little thing that really stood out to me. And that's, I think, also sort of like when I started noticing it more, because that
Mm.
human-like features started disappearing. And I didn't really realize that. And especially because I'm a person who really likes imperfections. So, like, a little scars, like little things that, like crooked teeth. I really love that. And I didn't
Yeah.
realize how rare that is in movies now.
I know. And especially that's the thing, like if you're gonna be making historicals, because we was talking about the casting of the new Odysseus movie, and it's like Tom Holland, Zendaya. I'm so glad they worked together, but do they have to fucking work together on every movie? Like, and then who else was it? I don't know, just
Matt Damon.
people, Matt Damon, and like they
It was
just
so
don't feel like Greek to me or like ancient. There's no like Idris Elba, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
He's
see
in
Idris
that?
Elba. You just said that, didn't you?
Zoe Saldana.
Oh, I thought you said Idris Elba.
Oh no, no.
I don't know, like there are so many good faces, faces of people who could literally be from any ancient civilization, like Oscar Isaac,
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal. Adrian Turner is pretty good, you know, the one who was in Paul Dark.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Aiden, not Adrian.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't know. We're just missing out on things because they want to cast the same five people in every movie.
But again, like even Pedro Pascal to me is everywhere right now.
I
Apologies.
know.
And even Adri what's his face? The Paul Dark guy, he was now in a show too, but I've seen him only in two shows, so I'm gonna let that one go slide. But I'm
Yeah.
just missing new faces. Like
Yeah.
overall, like these are people that I already know from other projects. And
Hmm.
you just know there are so many talented people out there who don't look
Yeah.
like they have so many things done with their faces. And it's just,
And then you're just watching a movie for the actors and
yeah.
and I think storytelling is getting lost in it.
Mhm.
It's like with Oppenheimer. I never had any desire to watch a movie about a guy who invented the nuclear bomb.
Mm.
But like even if Christopher Nolan is this wonderful, prestigious, artful director, he's just hiring the same guys in every movie. And Cillian Murphy's amazing, but it's just I don't
Cillian
know,
Murphy
like
is
when
amazing in all the um historic thing he's doing. He
yeah,
should
he
do more of that.
is. Yeah. I don't know. It would be nice to just diversify Hollywood more
Yeah.
and movies more. I also just don't really get directors who also end up in the movie. Like Bryce Dallas Howard in an interview that I was watching was like, I either like to be the actor and be directed, or I like to be the director and be the one directing, but no, not both. And I really like that way of seeing it because they're two completely different jobs.
Mm.
Anyway,
Anyway.
that's that rant. But it is like, if Harry Styles is in a movie, that's just Harry Styles in a movie then, and it's not about the movie anymore.
Mm.
It's like certain people just kind of it's hard to detach them now because I think that's partly to do with the way that we idolize people as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Anyway,
Anywho, I've been reading Nettle and Bone,
that's
which
true.
was really good. It
Yeah.
gave me a good ship that I wasn't expecting.
It was cool.
Um, very beautiful writing.
And by T.K. Kingfisher, I read What Moves to Dead,
Yes.
which, if you're into mushroom horror, go for it.
It's a new genre, it really
Yeah.
is. I'm actually getting some mushroom horror in LM Juniper's How
Mm.
We End. The zombies are the infections from spores, quite like The Last of Us.
Oh.
But the description of like the body horror is really great, actually. Yeah. And I also read Natalie Hedgerow and the Orange Alien by Hazel Meredith Lloyd.
Mm.
I got a free copy last year because I designed the cover. Um, and it was a really cute children's story, and it was just really funny and witty.
Mhm.
And it had a little nice message about like loneliness and depression and stuff. So I would recommend that if you've got kids and they kind of just need cheering up or
Mm.
they just want to go on a little space adventure. There was lots of fun things about that. What about games? Have you been playing anything?
Lately only The Sims, of course. I overdid it during holiday. It is what it is. I may or
Yeah.
may not have stayed up until 9 a.m. while playing it. It happened. It's in the past again, sadly. We played demo of Tiny
Oh
Bookstore.
yes.
It's a game that's on our radar for a long time now.
Hmm.
We really did enjoy it. I'm just so excited to get it. And I mean, Fortnite to me is still amazing, and I want to play always. Yeah, that's really it, isn't it? Did you play anything else?
Yeah. I got the Animal Crossing expansion pack over
Yeah.
Christmas, the Happy Homes one, and I'm really enjoying that. It gives you like a little more to do. So I guess like before, if you were just sick of kind of walking around the island doing some fishing and shit.
Mm.
This gives you more because you get a job and you design holiday homes, and there's so many cute new characters in it, and you can buy new furniture and stuff from the shop.
Yeah.
And I built a school, and Lath, the plant man, the little plant sloth, the one who sells plants, he taught me how to make hybrid flowers. So if you plant flowers of two different colors next to each other, they make different
I
colors.
do remember doing that a lot. I somehow figured it out because it just
Wow.
happened when I was doing my little gardens. So I tried to just experiment with that a lot. And my favorite ones are black roses.
Oh, yes, I need some black roses. I need to
Yeah.
start doing that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've never told you anything new in your life. Every time I'm excited to tell you something, you already know. So,
Yeah.
um, I also got the Season's Greetings Lake expansion pack, which was so good, so Christmassy, so beautiful, so cozy. I really liked it. I wasn't as invested in the story because first of all, I was a man.
Yeah. That's
Like
valid.
I just wanted to drive my poor span around.
Yeah.
So, but now I get to do endless mode because I've got it on my laptop. So, and that's really it. Also, Sims, also Fortnite.
It was funny when I go back to Sims because it's obvious I forgot how to play it. And I have Wicked Whims. I have a lot of mods. So in the first 25 to 30 minutes when I was playing it, Girly got pregnant and got like 3 STDs before ending up with HIV. And that was a wild ride.
Anywho,
Anyway, should we get to our interview?
oh, shall we talk about it first for those who don't know what it's really about?
Okay, you have 2 minutes. Go.
Oh my God. Okay, so Modern Divination is set in Cambridge and it's got some academia vibes.
It does.
And she's a witch in hiding.
She-
And witches are dying sometimes
Yeah.
and she's feeling the emotion. She's feeling like she's gonna die too.
Yeah.
And she has an amazing rival called Theodore Ingram. And she's bi, and her roommate is non-binary. And that's where I'm at right now. The prose is gorgeous. Like I said in the interview, like there's like a magnifying glass under every scene. I feel like I'm in the scene. Yeah, it's just great vibes. Lots of like dark academia magic. Very good. Just very good. Very good for fans of Discovery of Witches.
Yes. And the Atlas 6, like that was very much character
Ooh.
driven, and this is giving me the same vibes. And I'm a little further in the book, and I can also say that Theodore is also bi. So just
Yay!
queer people all around, and it's glorious.
Yay!
So,
That's what we like to see.
yes.
And he's giving Mr. Darcy, he's like a little bit moody, but I'm pretty sure he's in love with her.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, with that, enjoy our interview with this.
Well, thank you for joining us. First of all, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Isa Agajanian, and I wrote Modern Divination. I am located in the Pacific Northwest in the United States, and I have a very large gray cat that helps me write all my books.
No.
Tell us a bit about Modern Divination and what inspired you to write it.
A lot of things inspired me to write it, but it is I think, a blend of, like the history and magic of a discovery of witches and the sort of like isolated rural setting of Howl's Moving Castle. It's a contemporary romantasy, which means it's a romantic fantasy, but it's set in the modern day in Cambridge and in a little fictional town called Townsend in the UK. Yeah, it follows two rival medievalists who must like set aside their differences to come together and solve a mystery, quash a threat against the witches around them.
I didn't know Townsend was fictional, and now I'm sad because I was like, I really want to go there. The vibes are immaculate.
I had to Google it just to make sure I wasn't like just naming a town because I was like, I this could exist. I'm pretty sure it does exist in plenty of places, just not there.
I felt the Discovery of Witches vibes. I think that's one of the reasons why I was really enjoying it. Where did your love of fantasy and magic begin?
I don't know. I was a I feel like I was a very imaginative little kid, so I was just like I never really grew out of that magic phase that I had when I was younger that I feel a lot of people did grow out of. I don't know. It's much easier to think that like there could be some magic in the world than to think that everything sucks, you know?
Any particular like movies or books or anything that, you kept going back to during the writing period?
During this writing period,
Or any?
I oh, honestly, I think I've just been a lifelong fan of fantasy as a genre. I think for this one, I read Ninth House like during my like third draft, and I was like, wait a second, I could do something with this. I don't really know what I did, but I was like, something needs to happen. There's not enough going on here, and then that did give it a little revamp. But I think one of the biggest factors that went into like starting this book was not fantasy at all. It was actually the X-Files. I was a big X-Files fan, and I was like, this is going to be like a like a buddy mystery. And then it quickly got derailed, and I was like, this doesn't work at all. But it was definitely like sci-fi, and it had to do with aliens and cults, and it was like two college students solving a mystery that way. And I didn't really care for aliens enough to keep going
Mm.
with that. So I was like, they're magical. This is much more fun.
Well, if you ever change your mind, I'm a big X-Files fan, so
Me
I
too.
would read it.
What drew you to the settings of Cambridge and the backdrop of academia?
I think academia is like a broad like niche has always interested me. I don't necessarily think it was any one thing, although I actually didn't mean to set it in Cambridge initially. I was looking for a place to set it because, like I said, it didn't start off as the story it is now. It was very, very different. And I knew I wanted a collegiate like school setting. And I didn't know what that would be. So I kept setting it at like different places and nothing really clicked. And I was in the UK visiting a friend of mine who lives in Cambridge and studies there. And I was like, this works here. And then I went home. Well, I don't even think I went home. I didn't wait to go home. I like went back to my hotel room where I was staying, and I was like, I'm going to rewrite this entire first half of a draft. And it fit there. I think, like the atmosphere just came to me a lot more easily than anything else did. So it just kind of seemed like the choice.
How did you build the magic system, and was it inspired by anything else?
Vaguely, I don't think knew this subconsciously, but I do think my love of the X-Men went into it. Like I said, I have a lot of, I don't necessarily know if that counts as like sci-fi, but it's like a superhero thing. I think I'm really familiar with like the X-Men. I don't know